Hello everyone. Today I wanted to have a look at something I've been talking about a few times, but I thought maybe having a concrete example would be interesting, and that's about null objects. So I'm going back to that same metrics platform project and looking at our creation rules. So I see this creation filter. We have a bunch of fields. Those can all be null if they need to. Parameters are nullable by default, and that applies to fields as well. And then for each of those fields, I'm trying to apply those predicates, and to apply those predicates every time I check if the rules are null. If they are, if they do exist, I apply them, and if they don't, by default the predicate is true. So things are filtered out only when they're set, but if they don't exist, the rules always pass. In this case, like, it's not incredibly complicated. I was able to extract this apply predicate method that takes care of that null check all the time. But still, I don't like null checks in general. If we can find a way to write code where things are never null, that tends to be better. So let's have a look. What I would like to have is, for example, a null object for those creation rules. So basically, if the creation rule exists, then that's the definition of the rules. But if I don't have any, I would like to have an object that represents that. So let's say we have a public static final, so a constant. There's null, that is creation rules, that is named null, and let's say it's a new creation rules with I don't care too much about what's really in there, and what I want to make sure is to override that test method. And so if things are null, it always returns true. It's a bit ugly because I'm creating an anonymous class, which means I'm extending that creation rule with overriding that method, which means I still have those fields, but I don't use them in any way. I could extract an interface to make that a bit cleaner and have two different implementations, like a null implementation and a real implementation. But yeah, let's start with the simpler implementation. I see that here I have a problem because, what is the problem? No, that's not a problem. I cannot inherit, so I can't extend that creation rules because it's final. That's related to the Lombok value. So value is Lombok annotation that's trying to tell me that what I'm tagging it with is a value class, so it's immutable, and the only way to ensure things are immutable is to make sure they are also final and they can't be extended, because I could have a subclass that adds mutability to it, and that's not what I want. Whatever. Let's move that to a data class. That's almost the same, but it can be mutable. And so let's make sure those fields are final. So I'm slightly reducing the constraint on that class. It's a data class and not a value class, but I don't care too much. Okay, so now I do have a null object that exists. It's a singleton, or at least, like, yeah, it's a constant. I can only have one of those. Whenever it's tested, it's always true. That's a good default for rule for this. I can go back to where this is used. So I have a lot of those curation rules. Now I want to make sure that when I instantiate those various rules, if they are a curation rule, if they're null, I want to replace that with my null-object. That means at the moment, again, this is a value class, so there's a lot of things generated automatically. I have a constructor that's generated automatically. What I can do is write a constructor instead with everything. And whenever I have a curation rule, I want to wrap that into yes, first not null, guava. Let's see. No. Objects. I should have not. Oh, I don't have a dependency on guava yet. So let's implement. Oh, I might have a recent enough version of Java object dot recurrent not null else. I think that's it. What does it do? Returns the first argument if it's non-null, otherwise returns the non-null second argument. Yeah, that's what I want. Requires non-nulls, else I want to have curation rules of null. Now I can add a static import here. That's better. I need to apply that only to the one that are curation rules for the moment, because I don't have the implementation for the others. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. I'm not going to do all of that, but you get the intent of what I'm trying to do. And that means that now when I'm checking all those, I'm actually going to also tag them as non-null, because now I know they're never going to be null. Those first 3, 4. Yeah, that's the generated constructor doesn't need. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Okay, that's all argument constructor. Oops. I want to do it explicitly. I don't want to have Lombok generated for me. Now, where am I using those fields? Yeah. Now, I know this is never null, so I can apply that directly. Can I? What am I doing wrong here? Oh yeah, missing parentheses. Okay, I can do the same for the others. Let's check this one. It's used here. I can also remove that apply predicate. Directly, good. That's third one. You get the idea. If I continue this to completion, I'm going to be able to completely remove that apply predicate method, ensure that my properties of this class are never null, and so I don't need to check for null anymore. Okay, that was fun. See you.